Hey guys, today I want to talk about getting your PMI removed, your private mortgage insurance. It is quite the process. We are still not there on our townhouse despite being very much ready to do so. So I want to walk you through the process where we kind of had our frustrations so that you are just prepared for the process to be a little bit difficult. And then I will update you guys when ours is fully resolved because to be honest, we're still working on it. Also, if you're new here, my name is Nikki. I post a lot of content about investing in yourself that manifests in finances, your home life, as well as your career. So I hope you find this helpful. We started trying to get our PMI removed in November. You're typically required to get private mortgage insurance if you pay less than 20% down on your home. So in our case, with our townhouse, we only put 10% down. Once your equity in your home reaches 20%, then you can apply to get that removed. I think it automatically usually goes away at like the 22% mark. That's how they get more money out of you. They try to make you pay longer. And obviously this is like free money for the bank. So they're gonna try to keep that insurance going as long as possible. And why, as I'm about to talk about, they make the process to remove it as difficult as possible. So in our case, the values have gone up tremendously since we purchased our home because we bought it during 2020. Houses in our immediate neighborhood are going for almost $100,000 more than what they were going for in the midst of COVID. So we know that we have a lot more equity in our home now. I had actually run the numbers, so I knew exactly what our valuation needed to be in order to get our PMI removed. I thought the comps in our area would easily prove that. So the first step was to reach out to our mortgage company. Our mortgage is through Truist. They kicked us over to a special phone line, and then they're gonna put you all the way back into like the 1980s and make you write them a letter that you put in the mail. And then they were like, we'll get back to you within, I think it was like 30 days or something. And I was like, seriously, snail mail? Like you guys can't like hook me up on the phone, or they don't have an email address? And they were like, no, they don't have any way for you to directly contact them. Annoying, but fine. A friend of mine had warned me about this. We started trying to get our PMI removed in November. I went ahead and submitted that request via mail. Typically, I think they need your loan number, your name, and then like the reason why you are requesting that your PMI be removed. So in my case, it was like home values have gone up significantly in the area, and we think we clearly now have 20% equity. So they will then reach back out to you and they say, so you don't have proof that your home has gone up in value that much. If you want to appeal it and basically order a new appraisal, you can do that. But you have to pay for it. So keep in mind, they had sent that letter back to me in the mail. So then I have to reply via mail again. And I enclosed a check for the amount that they requested and said like, yes, please go ahead and schedule the appraisal. So I think all of that correspondence happened in December. In January, I either got a call or a text message from a real estate broker who was like, I was contacted by Truist. I heard that you needed to do a new appraisal for your house. I just need to swing by, take a couple pictures. It should only take a few minutes and then we can get this process moving. So I set all of that up. She came in. It was truly, I think she was there 3 minutes. Like she barely looked at the house. I was on a meeting, so I couldn't even ask her about kind of what the whole process was. Keep in mind, January is when we moved. So this was right before we moved to our new house. They actually sent the information back about the appraisal to our old address, not our new address, even though I had updated it on my Truist account. So I didn't see the immediate notification with the correspondence update on the process. So I actually called Truist about a week ago and asked for a status update on my PMI removal and found out that they valued our house at $437,000, which is $3,000 less than what we paid for it. I was peeved and I asked, how do I appeal this? They gave me an email address. Shockingly, it wasn't snail mail this time. And I corresponded with someone back and forth in the PMI department because I guess suddenly they now have an email address despite not having one before. I don't really get it. They asked why we were appealing it. I told them that I didn't think that the valuation was fair. And they asked for me to list out exactly what I thought was incorrect about the appraisal. And then also to provide 3 different comparable properties that were not in the original report so that I could kind of articulate why I thought our house was more valuable than what they were saying. So at this time I said, hey, I never got the updated appraisal information, so can you send me a copy? And when they did, I realized that of course the valuation was low because they actually had the square footage in our house wrong. They had listed it as like 2,100. Our house was closer to 2,800. They're looking at significantly smaller comparable properties, which was driving the valuation down. So once I knew that, I was able to pull much more reasonable properties in terms of size, in terms of bedroom count, things like that. And I'm hoping that the comps that I provided will support my case. Like, for example, the ones in our neighborhood that were, like, one was a direct neighbor, one was kind of a little bit down the street but was an older unit, and those were significantly higher than what they appraised our property for. So I'm hopeful, but I'm not banking on it, because it's pretty clear to me that these banks want to make it as difficult as possible to remove PMI. So right now I'm waiting to hear back, and I will update you guys next in this same video of what happens. But keep in mind, I originally requested to remove my PMI in November. It is currently the beginning of March. This is my 5th month doing this now. I am irritated as anything, but again, I don't think that this experience is abnormal. A friend of mine had this back and forth with her bank, and she eventually gave up, and I think that's their goal, is to make you give up, because they make the process as difficult and frustrating as possible. You just have to be persistent about trying to get it removed. So, yeah. Hey guys, Nikki from the future. Finally got a response about my PMI appeal, because they originally declined our PMI request. So now we got an answer, got a giant packet of really just the paperwork that should have proven to me why they didn't take away my PMI. Because, spoiler alert, it got denied again. I'm gonna fold this over so you don't actually see my address, but it is denied. But they didn't even list the reason. And all of the paperwork that is supposed to tell you, like, why it got denied, like, it's all blank. I'm gonna have to appeal this, like, all over again, or at least have them fill this out, because all of this is supposed to have the information as to what the comps were that they used, and all of the information about them, because they clearly used all of the comps that I sent them, because they sent me photos of these houses, but they didn't give me any actual reasoning why they declined it. So again, I think PMI is just a complete scam. Like, it's ridiculous to me that Truist isn't, like, even considering this. But whatever, I'm just gonna fight them on it, because I have the time and energy to do it. So I know not everyone does. I have a friend recently who gave up on trying to get her PMI removed for the same reason. But you know what? Screw them. I'm gonna do it anyway. So eventually it's gonna get removed. I just don't know when. So last time we talked about my PMI removal, I only got a reply, and it was just a blank packet of information that said it was denied and gave me no reason. So I had to reach back out to Truist to figure out what the heck was going on there. I sent them a little bit of a nastygram, because I've been waiting for a decision on this for almost 6 months now. But it turned out that they actually did approve my request to remove my PMI, which is awesome. So our house is now valued, according to them, at $560,000. I think that may be a little high, but I'm not gonna complain about it. I'll take what I can get. So our PMI is officially removed. It's gonna save me about $85 every single month, which is huge. Really excited about that. I can invest that or do something else with it. So again, it took about 6 months to make that happen. 6 months of arguing with Truist, going back and forth with them. I understand that not putting down 20% seems more risky to a bank, and it's a way for them to make money. And I don't discount their maybe need to make a profit, whatever. But I think the process for getting it removed taking so long, and then putting so many barriers in place of requesting PMI removal, even if it's a valid request, makes it kind of a scam. I do think that if you are considering getting your PMI removed, just start the process now, because it's not going to be a short one. Make sure that you calculate out and know what your valuation for your house needs to be in order for your PMI to be removed. And also keep in mind that that number that it needs to appraise at is going to get a little lower every month, because you're paying a little bit towards your principal every month with your mortgage payment. So to give a quick example with my own mortgage, back when I ran these numbers in September of 2022, I had $380,000 of remaining principal on my mortgage. Now, for that to represent 80% of my home's value, meaning I have 20% equity, I would need to divide it by 0.8, and that's going to give me a home valuation needed of $475,000. So fast forward to April of this year, my remaining principal is down to $374,000. So when I divide that by 0.8, now instead of the $475,000, I only need a valuation of $467,500 in order to remove my PMI. So it's going to change over time. Just because you're not ready to remove it now doesn't mean you will not be in the near future. And the last thing that I'll note too is that even if the values in your area have not appreciated sufficiently to kind of get it removed based on just like your home value increasing, keep in mind that your PMI is not going to go away automatically when you hit 20%. Most companies will remove it automatically when you hit 22%. But if you call them and you pester them about it, they will remove it at 20% valuation, which is kind of the official rule. So it's still worth finding out what that number is so that you can make sure that you proactively get it removed as soon as possible. Now I got to attend to my screaming child because she's up from her nap, but thank you guys for celebrating this win with me. I'm going to link one more video to 2-1 buy downs, which is a program that we took advantage of to buy this house that I'm currently sitting in. It artificially lowers your interest rate for the first 2 years that you own your home. It's a really interesting program. I talk about it all in that video, and it will help you if you are considering buying a home in the near future. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.